We are here tonight to tell a story together, so it's only fitting that we first acknowledge the oldest storytellers on this land and their ongoing culture of telling stories, which continues to this day. We meet tonight on the unceded lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. Always was and always will be Aboriginal land.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Insight Check. This is the show where we talk about 5 Foot Step and more specifically, season 3 that we've just started this year. We're doing Insight Check a little bit differently this time around. Rather than going through each episode, we're doing one for the first half of the season and one for the second half of the season. So today we're going to be talking about episodes 1 to 4. We've been running through the Mistborn series, The Saga of the Serpent's Fangs. If you think back a few weeks ago, we're going to first start talking about episode 1, Voyage into Darkness. I have with me this evening Cameron, the author of the module. I have Stephen, the DM. I have myself, obviously, who played Astrid on the episode, Courtney, who played Reggie, Mike, who played Talarian, and Mitch, who played Yagrima. So welcome, everyone. How's it all going?
Kicking ass.
Good.
Well,
Very
Fantastic.
well, and a pleasure to be here.
So for those who need a little bit of a refresher, thinking back to a few weeks ago when we first met each of our characters for the first time, um, episode 1, Voyage into Darkness, we meet the first, group, Astrid, Reggie, Talarian, and Yagrima, on board the Cutlass, sailing into the area of the Northlander Isles, being hired by a merchant company to try and look into these pirate attacks that have been happening, these uh, interruptions to the supply chain, trying to get to the bottom of this pirate threat. That is kind of the gist of that first module. But maybe Cameron can give us a little bit more detail into kind of how he approached it, some of the kind of details of the module. Cameron, do you want to talk about your experience being part of this particular writing project? Your first writing project module, I guess, that's kind of been streamed online, maybe. How was that kind of experience, seeing that and kind of start to finish?
Absolutely. I suppose from the start, it was very different from previous projects I've worked on, where this was working with many other authors and having that initial stage of working through what the themes were going to be, who the villains were going to be, sourcing different ideas for the crew and companions. And I really enjoyed writing in that collaborative space with everyone. That was a real treat. Um, I think in terms of writing it for something that would be streamed at some point, there was a lot of focus on making sure that it was able to be run fairly efficiently. I know in particular the naval combat went through a few different iterations to get it to
Yeah.
a point that was more easily playable, which was another great aspect of the collaborative writing process was getting the feedback and the positive criticism, working out what was bogging down combat, what was really exciting that we wanted to see more of, and working that into the finished version of the module. And then, of course, seeing the wonderful live play of it where it just came together wonderfully. So that was a lot of fun. The writing process as well as seeing the finished product at the end and seeing how it was interpreted during the session.
Was there anything that you had to really kind of, apart from the ship combat and so forth, was there anything that really kind of had to change, or had to, maybe you could have included, but you had to, change your mind and took it out, or anything like that during the process?
Early on, there was a little bit more exploration, which eventually got sort of folded into the initial skill checks you make when you're introducing
Mm.
your characters, getting to know the crew. That was originally a little bit more fleshed out, but it felt like it kind of the momentum sort of petered off during that, and then quickly came back. So instead of having just a nice smooth arc for the narrative, it made it a little bit more choppy. So I think in the end it worked much better for the sake of keeping it a fairly high clip adventure.
It's a tricky thing writing a 2 hour module, especially
Mm,
there's always those things that if you were running this in 4 hours, you could pack with so many more little tidbits, but it's when you have to finish it in that period of time, it's kind of tricky. I know Stephen was one of the DMs who helped you play test it as well, who
yes,
ran the
yeah.
module for us. Stephen, was there anything much you kind of changed between the way that you ran it early on, and what kind of decisions did you make for running it on stream?
So went through quite a few play tests and read throughs, and as always, me and Cameron work well in tandem to get things written or play test through, or making sure the tweaks are there or the feedback, especially during the early play test, and also being on his table to see how he runs it compared to how I run it, and where it needs to be streamlined for either the online or just for my comfortability in terms of what I make feel fun. But yeah, it was very much it worked out and great crew for the stream. And I think uh, some minor things, if we had more time or if we maybe a little bit more handouts could have been used in future, but that's just an afterthought thing. But in general, I think it worked very well for the stream, and we did really good on time. And I did. Uh, I love the I love the goat.
We love Bartholomew.
When I saw it in the first module, and then like as I ran through the rest of the modules for playtested, it was just somehow I am always gonna go back to the goat somehow.
Yeah, I think hopefully the crew will kind of become favorites as recurring characters through the series and everything. Mike and Mitch and Courtney are kind of playing through that process. Do you have any favorite parts of the adventure?
Bart was a favorite. Just the amount of chaos that little goat can cause was a lot of fun to just deal with. I think Reggie tried his best to be the goat's friend. I don't think that really worked, but um, look, he had a lot of fun on that ship.
What about you, Mike and Mitch?
I was gonna say like uh when Jagrima got really big, and
Yes.
that just was so fun because like you get to do all these extra like superhero moves that you don't usually see.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I think Yakima had a pretty good kind of bromance going with Bartholomew by the end there too.
Absolutely. How often do you get to be a goat with another goat? On a ship, on a boat. Two goats on a boat.
Do you think Bartholomew has like a favorite at this point in time? I think Yagima's got to be on the short
Oh,
list.
yeah.
Surely, right? Like
Sure.
Yagrima can speak goat, they can be goat. The two together are just goat, It's
Yeah. We
No,
can't really compete.
Yeah. I know, Stephen, you submitted a question about, if people had any kind of headcanons about what Bartholomew did during his life before becoming a member of the Cutlass. I don't know if anyone's got any ideas in their mind.
I think in my mind he was a standout goat in the field, and then suddenly decided he had to be crazy. He had to be a pirate. Went and joined the pirate crew. Just walked onto a ship, and
He's
there he
rebelling.
is. Yeah, he's rebelling against his traditional goat upbringing.
I imagine like he was maybe some form of cargo on like a transportation ship with the two Genasi siblings, and maybe they got attacked by pirates, and Bartholomew somehow sprang to their protection, and then from there on they were just like, "You're never leaving our side. You are family."
Yeah, I think so too. I think for me, he's just kind of ingratiated himself amongst the crew to the point that no one questions, anything about it. He's just like, well, he helped us out in a pinch last time. We can't get rid of him now, especially with how superstitious sailors are.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had a head canon of like, hmm, he must have had a past with the Dark Tide. He betrayed the Dark Tide, and he's wanted by them somehow. And like, somehow he was like, yeah, like, you know, like it was almost like linked to like Pirates of the Caribbean. He's that traitorous member who cursed the rest of them or helped curse the rest of them. Now he's cursed as well to be a goat.
I do
He's
love the
actually,
idea of a wanted sign with the goat
yeah,
Bartholomew on it.
One Piece, 50 berries.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
He's
speaking of Pirates of the Caribbean and One Piece, we did clock in. I never got around to counting exactly how many, but we did clock in quite a lot of pop culture references during that one particular episode. Definitely more than the other episodes. Um, I don't know. Mike, I think was worried that we were too distracting from the plot of the episode. But to be honest, I kind of feel like that's just how D&D is sometimes. Like I think it's good kind of representation of the reality of sometimes it's just a back and forth of it's not always in-depth role play. It's just a scene where you say weird quotes while you fight a monster kind of thing.
I will say as well, like when the first one got a laugh, it kind of then it's on. Then
Yeah.
you can't stop doing it after that point because it's then established it will reliably get a laugh.
Yeah.
I think maybe the two of us together too, we have a lot of the same kind of reference points, especially with like Simpsons quotes and things like that. So I think we, kind of fed off each other a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a
Uh,
lot of fun.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the characters while we've got you kind of here and kind of meeting those characters for the first time, Astrid and Reggie and Clara and Yagrima. Do you had any particular kind of like inspiration for your characters? Why did you choose these particular ones, and kind of has that changed over the course of playing them over these first few episodes?
I'll go first. For Reggie, I did have a solid plan for him. He was always going to be very, very God focused and very, I'm going to collect every god there is. This is his hobby, and he is mates with every one of his gods that he collects along the way and finds them very fascinating. So that was kind of something I was always going to sort of play up. But I think the more and it possibly happened more in the other episodes, but he was trying to be the good to the forceful. So if somebody was being forceful in the episode, he'd try and do the positive reinforcement to bring people back together. He was kind of I guess it would be like a sports coach, like a kid sports coach, where he's just cheering everyone on, doing a great job, that kind of thing. So
You're
that's
all
kind of
winners.
what grew. Yeah, that kind of grew organically from Reggie.
Fantastic. I think for me, for Astrid, Astrid was a character that an AL character that I had already that I'd only played once or twice before, but I already kind of knew going into the season that we were going to be doing a Northlander Isles based kind of adventure, playing on a lot of themes of like Norse mythology and Viking kind of culture and so forth. So it kind of just made sense to me as I kind of looked in my stable of characters if there was someone that I was excited to play, that playing the kind of Viking inspired character just kind of stood out relatively easily. I tried to kind of subvert the kind of expectation though that she would be just stereotypically someone from the Northlander Isles. So that is why she is, kind of a little bit different. She, is more heavy armor based and, kind of has a little bit of a clash of styles with, some other people there. She hasn't been there in a long time. So, that kind of adds, I think, hopefully a little bit of depth to, that rather than just kind of playing into the stereotypes about her. But yeah, I did already have her, so it wasn't so much necessarily a choice of like making someone specifically for the season, but more like, well, I already have this character that's probably pretty perfect for the season already. So, but it's been a challenge, I think. This is the first time on 5 Foot Staff I've played a character with no spells whatsoever, and it's kind of I've gotten through it, but as a couple of times where I'm like, man, I wish I had something here that I could help out with.
The cheeky misty step every now and again.
Yeah. Well, what about you guys, Midge and Mike?
For me in particular, like Yoglima, going into the season, again, like we had the understanding that it was a nautical campaign, so I was like, okay, we've got the new content. Um, the druid has the Circle of the Sea subclass now, and that was very appealing to me. And I think just tying in the Goliath ancestry to the Northlander Isles, combining it with the druid just kind of made sense. And obviously, the big draw to that was the fact that Goliaths can make themselves large, but also Druids have access to the Enlarge Reduce spell, which will increase your size further again. So I was like, I can be certified big unit, huge size. Yes.
Fantastic, Mike.
So for me, it was a pretty logical kind of series of deductions. It was like, okay, uh, what's a character that's going to be good on a ship that has a lot of ranged options and movement options? Okay, well, wizard sounds pretty good for that. And then I thought to myself, all right, well, I want to play a character that can swim, has a swim speed. Okay, what's good for that? Sea elf. All right, well, if I'm a sea elf wizard, then obviously Blade Singer. So it all just kind of like, and that's what ended up being Talarian.
We did have a question actually for Talarian from Matt, who asked, did you pick to do your Blade song as dancing rather than singing because singing underwater might be particularly difficult, but he said it would be a perfect opportunity for a whale song wizard.
I don't know if whale song would fit, thematically, but I do like the kind of, very wushu inspired martial arts kind of dancing style that would fit well for a character that's swimming around underwater.
That is pretty cool, yeah, for sure. Like that be like water kind of thing, really kind of fits perfectly for that. Well, we haven't seen Talarian and Yagrima for a few episodes now. Obviously, you guys will be featured a little bit more in the second half of the season. What do you think those characters have been up to during the episodes that you weren't on screen for?
Hmm. I'd say like Talarian's probably swimming like along with the ship underneath like a dolphin, just like, just pops his head out. Yeah, everyone's doing all right. Okay, back down.
I think Yagrima's probably communing with nature a fair bit, so maybe spending a bit of time away from the ship, but coming back and checking in every now and again, just getting in touch with the sea life, with the weather, see what's going on, and kind of protecting the ship from afar.
Cool. One of the things that we did talk about coming into this season was the idea that, obviously it makes sense that all of the characters that we see during the season are like on the ship or around the ship, during the course of the season. And that was kind of something that, at least narratively, we wanted to kind of keep up, that it doesn't make sense that they kind of disappear for a few episodes or whatever, that they're kind of like off screen doing other things. There's other stuff going on. So I think it's been interesting so far to kind of have that dynamic of the conceit, at least, that everyone, even though they're not on that one particular episode, we don't have like 9 characters in one episode, that they're like all around, doing things, helping out, they're battling off screen, they're doing something off screen or whatever. Hopefully that's kind of made sense to the audience a little bit. It's kind of a slight balancing factor between running this in an AL style with an AL series of modules and kind of doing the kind of rotating cast and DM way that we do it. I think hopefully that kind of makes a bit of sense. Well, we've got a few more minutes to talk about episode 1. We haven't heard from Cameron or Stephen or anyone in a little bit. Do you have any other bits and pieces that you want to talk about regarding like the module or the series or anything?
I really love the using the cutlass as the home base for the rotating cast of characters. Kind of like the idea of almost using the cutlass as like a location you could use that for the bastion
Bastion?
rules.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't played with that too much because I don't know how much the bookkeeping element of that would be interesting for people on stream. But
It's another layer on top of the yeah.
yeah, but definitely, with the 2024 Bastion rules and stuff, we could, definitely do. The reality is like there has to be dozens of people crewing the ship. Like it's not just like 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot going on. There'd be a lot of other things to have to help out with and do.
I almost wish I'd created a like a table of random pirate names or Cutlass crew member names with just a little odd job. cook, cleaner, cannoneer.
Yeah. I'll talk about it a little bit in the episode 2 bit, but I do have a little table of pirate names in the second module. And it is mostly the same names from Doha Heist, but it is
Good
still,
choice.
yeah, it's still that is where Nice Jim came from, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, definitely. I think we've kind of left it up to DMs to fill in some of those details of the ship a little bit. Did are there any kind of canon things that have come up from you running them through the modules? I know that you've run through all of them, I think maybe, Steven.
Yeah, that's why I hooked on to Bart very early on because it became a kind of a thing throughout. But also, ship combat is something that can get very interesting. Well, compared to Spelljammer combat, it's a whole other layer. But I love ship combat ever since Saltmarsh. For those who know me and one of the first ever campaigns I ran, we learned a lot from that, and it was interesting seeing Cameron's writing of it because I'm more of a quick, let's just get to the combat. Let's get to the ships crashing or meeting each other. This was a challenge for me, but also a very interesting take to try and make chase combat for a ship. And it was actually
Mm.
fun. It actually felt fun and building up the tension. And
Yeah, I think
and
you guys both did, as a collaborative effort, did really well to make the ship stuff like not
Mm.
drag. It's
mm,
so like by default, and it's so easy for ship-based combat and ship-based anything really in
yeah.
in 5e to just be this real slow process.
Steven's feedback was really valuable in the process of tightening up the ship combat to make it more dynamic, as well as also the final battle against the captain and the megalodon. That was another combat that went through a couple of different variations, and then there's also different ways to scale the difficulty with a few different stat blocks.
Mm.
Because initially I'd gone with the Naiad stat block, which was quite a lot weaker than what we needed. I think the one of the final versions was having a water elemental Myrmidon that the Naiad, using their water form ability, was inside of. So you had to fight through the Myrmidon, and then there'd be the water inside the armor comes out at the end.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I saw that as like cool, but nope.
Yeah,
Like
I
if
think
I
it
if
would have
I
probably taken a lot longer to kill.
yeah.
if I had advice as a writer and DM, it's the convoluted boss fights.
It's a difficult challenge, I think, to find something that is like interesting and challenging,
Mm,
especially in AL, that doesn't take forever, but is also kind of engaging. I think that you did well, like having a flying shark with a pirate captain on the back of it was pretty sick. I managed to bring that mini all the way home, and then
that
I
was a
accidentally
wonderful
sat on
mini.
it, and but it's okay. I
That's
fixed it. It's
okay.
fine. It's fine. I had to put it back together again, but it did snap in like two places, and
Oh no.
Uh,
I'm like, oh, I'm just putting it all away, or whatever. And then I'm like, where did I put that mini? Sat down, and I just heard this crack.
Oh,
oh,
But it's okay. It's up on the shelf. It's fine. But yeah, I think that was a fun challenge. So for you to find out, especially like looking up, like I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to find a pirate captain inside a myrmidon on the back of a shark. We'll get as close as we can.
Yeah.
yeah.
the shark stat block that we end up going with the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but switching out its walk speed for a swim speed. That was the stat block we used for that, which is a lot of fun.
And fly and having it
Mm,
already cast fly on it.
yeah.
Yeah, that combat I think was a lot of fun. Like some MVP moments from Talarian using like the water, uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, like I think everyone kind of had like a little kind of moment of shining. The giant Yagrima.
Knocking the pirates into the water where they're just devoured by the sharks. That was brilliant. I was watching along with that and I was just like, nicely done.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I think in just a couple of minutes we will switch over and start talking about episode 2. But any kind of final thoughts anyone has? Anything that you want to talk about for episode 1?
I was just going to mention my dice luck was awful. And poor old Reggie almost died the second into that fight.
Yeah.
It was so close to going down. Initially, like just got crit straight out of the gate. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, Astrid took a couple of pretty heavy hits as well. Like that was it got a bit dicey
Yeah.
for us on that side anyway. I don't know if the other two were in any particular danger, but
Yeah, I rolled really good that night.
yeah. You did. All right. Well, thanks everyone so much for joining us. We're going to take a 3-minute break, and then we'll switch over and bring in a few more guests to talk about episode 2. But to Cameron and Courtney and Mike and Mitch, thanks for joining me to talk about episode 1. We'll see Mitch again in part 2 as we talk about Brian and Bone, and Courtney will be back for part 3. But thanks again, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you for having us. Catch you next time.
Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Brendan. I actually realized I didn't introduce myself at the very start of the episode, so I'm still Brendan, but I was earlier as well. So, welcome to the second part of our Insight Check. We're going to be talking about Part 2, Episode 2, Brine and Bone. Joining me, we have a few new guests. Unfortunately, Donna couldn't make it this evening. We'll talk a little bit about Jindy, but she's unfortunately not here to add anything about that. But I have joining me Alec, who played Remora. I have Siobhan, who played Tilda, Vic, who played Zeph, and I have Mitch with me, who was the original author and was going to be the DM of this module before some plans changed. Maybe let's start with that. Mitch, can you talk about like what your original plan for this module was between you and Ari? This was originally going to be a joint module between you and Ari. And kind of, maybe what some of the kind of major differences were between what it ended up being and what you'd originally planned.
Yeah, no, for sure. There was just a series of unfortunate events that kind of got in the way of not being able to kind of commit as well as I could have. But effectively, Ari and I originally had the setting for the Salty Mast, name we can credit to Ari and his brilliance, which was actually set as one of like those old floating forgotten pirate forts. So it in and of itself, it was actually like just a series of ships kind of mastered together, really, like roped together and kind of floating in the middle of nowhere. We didn't get very far into a lot of the planning, but there was a lot of exploration involved. So we still had the idea of doing like running around the tavern, having a couple of games, a couple of drinks, sussing things out with some investigations, and then kind of going into a secret aspect of it, which would have some real primal influence, which was probably taking a darker turn than maybe what we originally had planned. But thankfully, Brendan was able to help out. I had to seek out his assistance. It was at a stage in my life where I was going through the breakdown of a long-term relationship and trying to subsequently move all of my stuff from Geelong back to Melbourne. And things unfortunately just got in the way, so I wasn't able to finish the commitment. But what Brendan kind of did with the material that we left for him was I feel so much more high tier. It was quite phenomenal work. Especially that final combat.
I don't want to like. I think that it would have been pretty cool to see what you and Ari came up with. It unfortunately didn't work out this time. Maybe we'll get a chance in the future to kind of see what that ended up being. I think just luckily it was at a point where I was like full on writing mode. I just finished like a couple of different things, and I was still like switched on to being like hammering out this project, getting it finished or whatever. So I think it kind of caught me at the perfect time where I'm like, okay, all right, let me think about this for half an hour and we'll see.
Yeah. And the drafts that you sent through, I was just reading through them and I was like, yes, that actually is so much clearer.
Well, I think it was interesting the way it came together because I think I wrote this module in like maybe like a day and a half, like just like stream of consciousness.
All right, yeah. Jesus,
it is
that was my favorite reaction. Like, all right,
I'm sorry, it wasn't supposed to be bragging. It was just like I was just on.
It was though, wasn't it?
You can own it. It's fine.
We can.
Well, I don't know if that necessarily makes it good, but like I don't think I've ever written something that fast before. It was just like, all right, here's the stuff that I have to get done. I'm just gonna see. But what I would have written if I'd written it from the start would have been different in a lot of ways, I think. And I think that the outline that you and Ari had planned did kind of change the way that I approach it in a lot of ways. I never would have had any kind of demi-plane kind of thing as part of the module originally. It was mostly just about infiltrating the tavern and finding out all that information and so forth. I think that kind of opened up a real like perfect opportunity to like kind of tie a lot of threads together in the series. The benefit is that Vaughn and I wrote the module that we will run as the finale for episode 7 and 8. And this kind of gave us a perfect opportunity to make a lot of callbacks because, it's like, well, all right, well, we're going to be visiting Ethel. We're going to have all of these things. I don't want to spoil anything, but there'll be something.
Brendan, don't give all the secrets away.
I know, yeah. I won't say anything
secret.
specific, but like keep an eye out, I guess. For when you see that, there might be some moments where you go, oh, hang on a minute, I remember something about this. There'll be some callbacks. But yeah, like look, I think it came together. I still think it would have been a fun pirate bar thing with Mitch and Ari energy. I really wanted to see that, but it is what it is. But yeah, how I think that the thing that I want to like kind of pick up here first is everyone immediately latched onto Nice Jim, and that is
Yeah.
It's my favorite NPC in the history of
You can't give someone a
NPCs.
name like Nice Jim and not expect us to be attached.
Brendan, he was the equivalent of the little guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like,
I think-
everybody's gonna love Nice Jim or hate him and despise him, but still, in a way, it's like it.
You still want him around.
I think the thing with it is that you did like as an NPC, he does a great job of like having that juxtaposition of like, oh, like because the way you set it up, right? Like everyone like shows him some respect and stuff like that, and then Ramar's like, yes, respect. I respect I respect those who command respect from others, and so and then you talk to him and it's like, yep, and I'm like, okay.
What do I do with this?
I loved hearing that he used to be handsome Jim.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was Jim the Marauder at one point in time as well. So I will say that Nice Jim was more or less invented on the spot, entirely whole cloth from the name. It was one of the names which was part of my like example pirate NPC stat block, which I pulled almost whole cloth from Doha Heights because I already had pirate names in that, and I just changed a couple of them that I'd already used for other stuff. But so one of the questions that we did get submitted was like kind of how like as a module writer you plan for letting players basically like free reign in a tavern, knowing that they have to specifically find out certain things and there's a time limit and so forth. I will say you guys didn't find out the information in the way that it's written specifically.
What? We went off book.
I don't understand, Brendan. What are you saying?
Crazy.
But that is expected. Like, I think that it's insane to expect that people will find out things specifically in a particular way. And I did write it in a way of like being like most of that like kind of dump of information is in the module written as when you talk to Red Maggie at the bar, and like she's probably like the most knowledgeable person that you could find out stuff from, but it does specifically say like you can find out this kind of information in other ways from different people. Like the things that are presented there are like, here are ways that depending on what the players are interested in, these are ways that they might be able to find out stuff. So the thing that you didn't do was like you could have gone like and gambled for like well, if I win I find out this information or whatever, and you could have played like Boulder's Bones or Liar's Dice or something like that. There's the arm wrestling competition, there's just random NPCs, there's a whole bunch of example pirate crew names as well in the module, which is where Lassel, Slazzle, and the Wizardy Boys come from.
Wizardy Boys.
That is 100% something that Tessa came up with, which she forgot about. But she couldn't. But she helped me play test the module. For the finale, and couldn't remember the names of NPCs, so she referred to them as Lazzle, Slazzle, and the Wizardy Boys. I'm like, all right, well, that's going in the module now.
Yeah, and we remember that one. I don't remember any of the other NPC names.
Courtney is mentioning in the chat that yes, Nice Jim is a little bit of a plug from Plugs But Ugly.
He is. Yes,
Yeah, there is a definite Leviathan vibe to the Salty Mast. Like I definitely kind of whole cloth ripped off a whole bunch of Dimension 20 Pirates of Leviathan with this module, but that it's just such a fun concept. But someone does ask, is Nice Jim okay? Does someone look after him? I suspect that was Tessa. Nice Jim is okay. He's not dead yet.
Yeah.
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 I as I thought about it more over the next few days, I've come to the kind of canon in my mind, like solution that Nice Jim comes from like a pirate crew called the Jims, and they're all
Oh,
Jims.
Yes.
they're all
Yes.
Jim.
And they're just all have different, and the gym names are just titles that they like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he no longer handsome Jim because someone came along who is more
There's a new handsome
Someone's
Jim.
hotter.
Yeah.
Someone,
Yeah.
there's a hotter Jim now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so this was the first time that we met Remora and Tilda and Zeph and Jindy. What was your kind of, inspiration for your, characters? Any kind of, reasons that you picked these particular characters to play during this series? And have they kind of changed? Has your canon about them kind of changed over the course of the episodes?
I mean, for me, like Remora is also like an existing AL character. In fact, she is my second ever Adventures League character. I had when we found out it was pirate themed, so I just go through the list of like who's tier appropriate, who would fit in a pirate themed season, and I actually have two or nautical because she's not a pirate. She spit like I jokingly make a spit motion, but anyway, um, um, she's not a pirate, but so I purposely chose last. Like I went like, yeah, everyone else, what do you want to pick? Because I have options. I have quite a bit of options. And it was between her and my rogue who was a pirate, my hobgoblin pirate rogue, who does have a very chaotic goose. But I think what it came down to was that I don't remember. Like I don't remember what the decision was because I did poll people in
I was gonna say, yeah,
the
we all
cast.
said that you
Tempest
should
Cleric.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was the
Yeah.
fact that it was a Tempest Cleric.
And her whole thing is being better than you. So
Which is a lot of fun to play against. It's
Yeah.
great.
like the way I sort of like kind of am able to do that within like the confines of AL is that because like she's like a season 4 character, so like the amount of stuff
Damn.
she's had,
Mhm.
like just the amount of stuff she's accumulated over time, like
Back when it was
um
legal to be evil.
oh yeah, she was actually lawful evil. She's now, I don't know, lawful neutral, just
It's the same thing, really.
yeah, so like she's like she has a lot of stuff. She is a character like I know how to play. I know how to like some of the features changed with the 2024 rules, but like yes, I know Tempest Cleric max out all the lightning damage. What's this? I have a staff of thunder and lightning. I have all of these like lightning aspected magic items to sort of just like give the proper illusion that she's hot shit and that's why she thinks she can get away with everything.
And then stacking her with a feat that means that you can't have resistance to lightning
Yes,
against.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that. So good. You go next one.
So I playing with the new rules of it, my brain has taken way too long to try and absorb them. So I was like, okay, what can I play that I know and that the rules that have changed under 2024 aren't as big as some of the others? And I was like, barbarian. I love a barbarian. I'm gonna play that. But initially, Tilda wasn't going to. She was initially going to be a zealot barbarian. The idea being that she had ties to uh, Valcor, and like because Valcor is tied in some way with Yota being stealed away, then like that would kind of bring her on board. It's just like, oh yeah, my god wants me to do this. But then I did a play test of another module, and I was playing one of my other AL characters who is an Ancestral Guardians barbarian. I was just like, oh, I love Ancestral Guardians so much. I love the flavor of like being a very like offensive character, but having that protective aspect about you. So like there was one I don't remember which module this was in, but getting to use like spirit shields, but also getting to, you know, I attack somebody so that they get disadvantage on attacks against other people, but then if they do hit, you have resistance to the damage that you take. So it's like you're not just protecting yourself, you're protecting all the like the members of the party as well that also get up close. But yeah, I love Ancestral Guardians. It's fun, and then you can flavor the Guardians as well. So
yeah, that's very cool, and I think that ties in well to some of the old Viking spirit kind of things themes that we have through the series as well.
yeah, I think I came up with 5 or 6 different like Ancestral Guardians that every time I'm just like, oh, I'm going to use Spirit Shield. I need to refer back to my who is it? Oh, there's this one it's Odin. I know it's Odin. Everybody knows it's Odin, but you know, whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, Zeph is. I had the same mentality of Siobhan of I haven't got all of the new rules in my head yet because they're not a completely new rule set. It's just like minor changes here and there, or changes here and there, which I find more confusing. So I was like, I can't deal with spells. I just can't. I just can't do it.
Yep.
And I was like, what's my favorite like non-spellcaster thing? And I've been playing a homebrew version of a monk for the past however long in like a home game. And I love playing a monk. I love it. I love it so much. So I was like, well, she's gonna be a monk. And then I read like what the kind of outline of where this like adventures would be set. I didn't know any of the context apart from this is where it's set, and I was like, Air Genasi. Absolutely. That seems thematically. I did not know that the boat was going to be like owned and crewed by there. I didn't know.
Genasi. Yeah.
But that was like I was like, this seems and I do have like a backstory and stuff in my head for her as well that tied in thematically that doesn't matter, but it's in my head and I know.
What matters.
Yeah.
Well, now's the time to talk about extra character details.
Yeah, and I was like, which obviously the elements thing goes with the Air Genasi. It just kind of thematically made sense. And not sure if I mentioned this, but Zeph was born on a boat. And
I don't think she's ever spoken about that.
no,
Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Specifically,
I definitely don't have a question written down. Can you address the unconfirmed rumors that Zeph was born on a boat?
yeah, she was. Specifically, she was born on a boat in the middle of the eye of a storm while a failed cult many years ago tried to bring back Yota the first time.
Oh.
And so that was like just a backstory that I wrote, and I was like, that fits. It's not going to come up, but it fits and it works well. So that was why I was like, yep, she absolutely has. She's a elements monk, which is they say what you want about 2024. They fixed the monk. So good, so much better, and just like some of the abilities that she has now, I'm like, this is so good. Like so good.
She's really been MVP. We'll talk about it a little bit in the next section when we talk about episodes 3 and 4. But obviously, we didn't meet any of these characters until episode 2. What do you think they were, up to on board the Cutlass during, the first episode when we, first kind of sail in and meet, that first pirate fight?
Oh, Remora is totally just like was going around the entirety of the leading up to the pirate fight, was going around the entirety of the ship, just kind of like telling them what they're doing wrong. And I just assumed like she was also fighting, just probably in the water, because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she
Definitely
can do.
could have been fighting off screen.
Yeah, like I just assumed that, looking down and so few of you can breathe underwater. That's so unfortunate. And just like fighting, yeah, underwater, like fighting the Dark Tide folk underwater, in the water. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I could do that as well with you. I can
Yeah.
breathe under
Must
there.
be nice.
She next time we see Zeph, she will also have a swim speed. She
Mm.
doesn't.
Ooh.
She didn't yet, but she will next time.
Nice.
And a fly speed.
Wow.
Nice.
And if I take athlete, also a climb speed. I can do whatever.
Just all over the place.
I can walk.
Who do you think is, I mean, obviously we've met some of the crew, we've met these characters or whatever. I think that there is some competitions now that we have both Mitch and Vaughn here at the same time. Who do we think is Bart's favorite at this point? Because obviously, Yankrama has had this, experience of, playing as a goat or whatever, but we did.
It's Jindy.
And Jindy obviously, has that kind of connection, but also like Tilda did, catch
Save his
him from
life.
falling off the boat.
Didn't I follow that role with a nat 1?
I think so, yes.
No. If I recall correctly, you successfully did the first one and then subsequently failed. But like because there was a couple of we did it for a couple of rounds, and I know one of the rounds you did well. Like you, managed it.
Right. Okay. Cool. I still think it's Jindy. Yes, like obviously I can't say I can't speak for Donna and how she chose to play Jindy, but Donna kind of was last minute joining the cast and kind of came up with like, what space do you guys need me to fill? And we were just like, you can play whatever, man. It doesn't do what you want.
Yeah, there wasn't a big glaring hole. Like obviously, in the last few weeks, Joel was trying his best to try and make it work to be able to come down and play again, and it wasn't going to happen. Originally, Donna obviously had played the last couple of seasons, but didn't think she was going to be available to play this season. So it kind of worked out, timing wise, that she was able to commit to a few episodes. We won't see her again until towards the end of the season, but. It was cool to for that see that character kind of come together after everyone else's characters and try and kind of fit that gap. And we have got unique character classes for each and maybe races too. I think we've got very different characters amongst the whole group.
You guys are both human, right?
Yeah, we're both humans, Brendan.
Yeah.
We went
Actually,
basic.
That is true. Yeah. Well, I guess
to defend human characters.
It wasn't meant as an insult.
No. Like I'm defensive about it because I play a lot of human characters, but I see a lot of people like humans are like the basic human fighter is the basic sort of thing, but like I love human characters in D&D because like you don't have that like you're not an elf, you're not a dwarf, you don't have that defining feature of like the different races in D&D. You don't have innate magic, you don't have dark vision, you don't get to live for like centuries. So like the story of that character, what that character does in their life is the defining feature. Like I feel like it gives you like a lot of space to play with.
Yeah.
I think Astrid may be my only human character. I'm thinking about it now. Wow. I can't think of another one.
Yeah, you have a lot of orc, like half orc characters.
I have a few orcs. Well, actually, I mean, Zura that you met in with arm wrestling is one of my retired characters as well. So that was a perfect opportunity to bring her back as a pirate, character, to kind of insert another one of my characters into the canon.
I've met Zora with another of my mean military ladies, funny enough.
How many of them have you got, Alec? How many?
So many.
Mean military ladies? I can think of 3 off the top
just
of my
without
head.
thinking.
Yeah, just like if I really think about it, I don't know, but yeah. Very Dwerger, a Asimar and the Triton. Yeah, those are the ones at the top of my head. May have more. Who knows? I now had to look up my sheet as well to see, like, do I have human characters?
Yeah,
Truly,
I
I
was
have
trying
a
to think.
human
I think maybe
character.
I've had one human character. I think.
I just think they're neat.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I
well,
do have a human character. Sorry.
I may have another one. I'll have to look it up later, but definitely not a lot. We'll have to move on soon to talk about the last two episodes. Are there any other kind of final favorite moments or anything from episode 2? Anything that you wanna talk about? To kind of refresh your memory. You picked your pirate personas. You made your way into the tavern, talked to a bunch of people. Got your way into the demi-plane of this kind of mirrored aspect of Ethel with the
I think
horn.
my big thing, I was so excited, and what I wanted wasn't going to be able to happen in a 3-hour module. But what I love a time loop. I love a time loop so much, so much, and I was like, oh, I could just do this for 3 hours. Just figure this out and get it right. And I don't know.
I think if I'd done it as like a 4-hour module, I probably would have put more time kind of, stuff, like had it be less obvious. But trying to fit a whole bunch of exposition and also a battle into a 2-hour module is kind of tough. It does a lot of heavy lifting of exposition.
Also, I could have spent another 3 days in that pub.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to, I'm sure there was someone gambling around there, and I would have loved to have done that. I don't trust my dice skills to do that, but I would have had fun.
Yeah. I have a question for Mitch. What was obviously the backbones of the story were kind of but what was your favorite thing that Brendan came up with that he ended up putting into the module?
I hadn't really pieced together what would happen in the final combat, whether there would or not be a big climactic final combat. So when I saw Hydra down on the page, I immediately I was like, why is this so perfect? This makes so much sense. And I'm a little bit sad I didn't get to run the combat, but no, it was phenomenal choices.
Perfectly made.
I made a character for you, Mitch.
Oh. I was like, as soon as I heard you were playing an Elements Monk and an Air Genasi Elements Monk, I was like, yes. My event.
Yeah. Exactly that.
Will you both be on episodes together in the future?
I don't think we are.
No, I don't think we are.
Possibly not.
No, it's me, Siobhan, Alec, Mike, and Ari's DMing.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit tricky, unfortunately. Not everyone gets to to line up together with the way that we schedule it out. But
Mitch and Siobhan and I came second at a Avatar trivia night once.
Also, there was only 4 of us. There was only 12 of them.
Yeah, we should have won. If you're going by law of averages, we won.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I think we'll take another short break and we'll come back to talk about the last 2 episodes. We're going to get Courtney back in, and we're also going to get Johan in, who wrote the module The Turning Tide. So we're just going to jump away for 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll see you again soon. Welcome back. Now we have a lot of the same faces on screen, but we have Courtney back again, and we have Johan joining us. Welcome. Johan is the author of The Turning Tide, the module that we played for episodes 3 and 4. And also some of the previous modules from the last season as well. Firstly, welcome to Insight Check. I'm curious, kind of what your experience has been like seeing your work be kind of portrayed on screen by us, for last season and also this season. But what was the process like for you, Johan, writing this module, knowing that it would be this kind of, two-part episode, this, kind of mid-season finale, not like the full kind of climax of the story, but also kind of still bringing together some kind of, mini climax to the story? Were there kind of considerations that you have to make for that?
When I joined this project, I thought it's going to be as smoothly that as last season, because last season I joined and then I just start writing and then just the words just flow. But for this one, I kind of like have a writer's block for a couple of months maybe. So I'm not really sure. I don't have any inspiration. Just hard on inspiration to start on this one. And I because it's a 4 hour module, I also not sure to decide, like, since we going to a stronghold. I know it's going to be a stronghold. There's going to be an island. So should I expend more on the island, or should I make it like a dungeon crawl for the stronghold itself? So I kind of like went into a multiple rabbit holes. I never write anything about dungeon crawl before, so I'm not. Then I just went to a multiple rabbit hole, like the researching, like how for 4 hour module, how many rooms should I put in?
Yeah. Too many options, I think, sometimes can be a little, sometimes if you have like a more set thing that you have to write, like exactly this or whatever, that kind of restriction is more helpful for the writing process, rather than being
Barriers
like,
give you freedom.
yeah, anything that you want to do, and like, oh no, that's too much.
I also think
yeah.
that you had the like even though you only have to necessarily tie in like 2 episodes, but you did have to actually like tie in previous things, which I can greatly empathize with from last season.
And as a person, I'm someone who will have decision paralysis. If the more option you give me, then the more I'm paralyzed. Like so, yeah. Constraints helps me more than. But I also know that some people, like when they have freedom to, like, you can write anything. You can expand the island as big as you want, or you wanna expand the temple as big as you want. Then they just put as much as they can there. Yeah, but it's the kind of the opposite for me.
Were there other ideas that you had that you didn't end up going with because of having to change it around?
Um, no, not really. I At the start of um the module, I kind of like thinking, maybe since this island supposed to be inhabited, or it's only dark type pirates know of it. Maybe I should put a lot more rumors, more superstitions. Like, maybe I even mix it up a little bit. Like, some of the rumors are true, some of the rumors are false, but I kind of like cut it off, because it's kind of it's a bit padded too much. So and I also decided not to go at all with the with the dungeon crawl.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I think we still kind of at least in the way that we played it out, still made it kind of more difficult than we needed to get through to the battle, just in terms of us as characters not being the perfect kind of group to explore something arcana based.
Again,
or
I
something.
don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I think, to sort of like behind the screens it kind of a little bit. I think that, what Johan wrote was perfect for an IRL 4-hour module. But
Yeah.
then we know that we have 6 hours to
Yeah.
fill, given that we've split it into two. There, like, I honestly I thought you would faff around a bit more, and I was kind of banking on that for some
Yeah.
part. Um,
Do
Could
we
have
not
given Redeem more
faff enough?
cards.
Didn't we like finish over time?
I think that's just because I like making combats feel threatening. I tend to like
Yeah.
I don't know, this is just me as a DM. I don't like it when you don't ever get threatened by the big bad. So I did like because I think you wrote Reeve and the others as a sufficiently threatening um enemies, but the problem is always with AL, like you are like AL characters are generally high damage output
Mm.
characters. So it made sense to me to just um like like buff their HP, like like within the legal limits
Mm.
still, but just like give them more HP so they don't immediately go down. I randomized the HP for the little ads, the little mob minion guys, and yeah, just to give it more of a, oh, you're not just like picking them off one at a time. Um,
Yeah,
I
it
don't
took
know what I was thinking with restraining Reggie, but
Did seem very personal.
The guy that's got 25-foot speed or whatever it is.
I mean, look, talking about the combat in those, across those two episodes, we really would have been screwed without Zeph's ability to move
Oh
Tilda
man,
around.
I was fucked as soon as I saw the maps for those combats. I was like, well, I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna stay on this boat, I guess. I
Yeah, I
guess I'm
came
just
into
gonna stay
several
on
of those
the
being like, I don't know
entry.
how I'm going to get there.
And then
Oh.
like Vic was like, "Oh, monks have this really cool thing now.
Yeah,
I
like
can
I said, the
take you
new
with
monks
me."
are great.
I was like,
Uh,
please take me with you. I can't do anything."
yeah, Reggie had Steven, so
Yeah,
he
you-
was able to-
yeah,
Steven. Yeah,
Steven.
that helped me out a lot. We would have been in a lot of trouble without Zeph and Reggie. I mean, I think that the terrain, played a really interesting part in both of those
Mhm.
combats for sure. Like, having something at the kind of rocky entrance to the island, which I think actually in the kind of last stages of writing that module, we decided was called the Serpent's Fang, which kind of tied everything together in a really nice way. But having that kind of that like, well, you're having to fight out of this rowboat, and then also kind of the finale fight of having these different platforms, but this big swirling whirlpool and all of these other kind of elements and stuff that you had to do. I think that made it much more challenging, especially for us as a party that didn't have great mobility.
or
Or
range.
casters.
Magic.
Yeah, or
Oh
magic.
yeah, the lack of magic really
Had one half
would've-
caster.
Reggie to the rescue.
Yeah.
Did you have any particular, Johan, like any considerations when you were designing like the combats of, it's difficult to challenge an AL party, were there any things that you did like that intentionally because it's like, well, this will make it harder for them?
Yes, actually, I put the terrain, specifically the terrain, to make it a little bit more difficult, and the platforms, especially the platforms in the last combat. At first, I put it as pillars, so if you ever fall into the water, you have to climb up first. And then, of course, the ripple going to make it a little bit more difficult. And then with Reef's ability, they can just push.
Yeah,
Mm.
Push
was the
everyone.
knockdown
Yeah.
for
So,
the pillars.
but
It makes
from the
sense.
playtest, I found that okay, this is too complicated to confront it.
I think putting all that terrain stuff makes it more interesting to watch, at least. Like, I look like, yes, I was playing a monk, and so I got to play to that strength, but like, it's more fun than just standing around a big bad evil guy and just hitting them over and over
Yeah.
again and just like exchanging hits, especially if it's something that's being filmed and you can utilize the wonderful sets that Court and Brendan make, then like I think is perfect
Yeah.
for that. All the terrain,
Yeah.
layer actions,
Terrain
everything.
and layer, amazing. Character, hated them. Siobhan.
Yeah.
As a player, I
yeah.
loved it. As a character, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here.
Reggie with his 10, I think it was
20
20
20
foot of
foot.
movement.
Mm.
And it's like, all right, I'll
Did
get
the
there
combat
soon.
play
Hey,
out
if
much
I could have come
differently?
back and got all of you, I would have.
Yeah.
But then
yeah,
Tilda started to die.
That's
Hey, I was fine. I don't know
Fine.
what
Were
you're
you?
talking about.
You weren't
Yeah,
fine.
I finished the whole thing on 4 hit points. I was fine.
You had 100 and something ridiculous.
Oh, my base hit points of 120 something or whatever
Yeah,
it
I had
was.
70 something.
Did the combat play out like fairly similarly in your play test, Johan, or is it kind of differently?
So in my playtest, someone actually went down while they're in water. That is something that I'm not expected, because okay, this whirlpool going to pull this
Yeah.
this
They're
unconscious
gone
person,
forever.
and then they're gone forever. And then what are they gonna do for the rest of this?
Oh no.
So in the end, I still didn't actually put what would happen if that actually happens, and I think I just pray, please don't be unconscious in the water. At least be on the platform if you are unconscious. But yeah.
Some things I think are better left to be like, yeah, well, it's not my problem. The DM will work that out. We'll make the most of it.
I did actually think of that, sort of, kind of, not directly, but I was like, I wonder if I could try and throw them in somehow, because some of the mobs have the grapple and stuff, and the knockdowns. Like, can I knock them into the water and divert their resources into trying to save someone from the whirlpool?
I mean, you did try. You got me right to the edge.
Yeah.
At first, I put like a giant shark in the whirlpool, and then that giant shark is just going to all they do all around is just they just going to circle around and then just take
just be vaguely menacing the whole time.
Fantastic.
I was thinking with regard to the whirlpool, like it would be kind of funny if somebody got sucked into the whirlpool, they just kind of appeared like a drain at the other end of the
at the top.
Oh, that would be better. Yeah.
Like a
No,
cycle.
but I was thinking
Like a
there's
portal.
in the Baldur's Gate 3 game, there's a bit that's underwater, and if any of your characters die, they wash up on a beach nearby and you can revive the character and stuff. But I was like, yeah, you get sucked in the whirlpool and then you come out the drain at the other end of the island. They've got to go back and get your body. But
to a raised dead.
Yeah.
No, but it's specifically a whirlpool to the elemental plane of water, so enjoy the plane shift.
Good luck. Good luck.
Hope you don't drown.
Yeah. I mean, look, it would just be annoying for some characters that could breathe underwater, I guess. But
I guess I live here now.
You can, but not if she's incapacitated. So
yeah, it's not going to be great.
Yeah.
In terms of, I think the other kind of elements that that I thought were very interesting about the module with there was the puzzle of the prayer and everything like that.
I don't even bother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I knew going into it that Von was on that episode and was immediately going to solve it.
I love a puzzle, but I may as well not bother because
I will embarrassingly admit when I read it, I didn't understand how to solve the puzzle until I looked at the answer in the thing and I'm like, I don't get it.
I got it, but I didn't get it that quickly. In terms of when I was editing the module, it took me honestly a couple of minutes to be like, oh, okay, I see how it comes together. I see why. And
I just looked at it and I looked at it and saw the word first, and I was like, well, that's obviously first.
Yeah.
And then she just put them in the order, and I was like,
there was the capital letters.
No, I got the capital letter thing.
The capital letters gave you the key word.
No, I got that.
And then we're doing a whole thing about the water and the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it makes
the-
sense when you say it like that.
Did anyone get it
When
wrong
you
during
use
the
logic.
playtests?
Yeah.
Johan?
Um, actually, they got it rather quickly as well. Of course,
All
they're
right,
going to
fine,
they
I guess.
You're the idiot.
they immediately put the first one and the last one immediately because it's very
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah.
But and then the middle one is just kind of like they and the cap. I actually at first I didn't put the capital letters, but then I'm not sure how to give hints to
Yeah.
this puzzle.
No, I think that
Mm.
like it might make it easier for some people, but I think you need that sort of just that little extra
Yeah.
push.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing because as often as you'll get people that just smash it immediately, like there will be people that just like, this doesn't make sense to me. This isn't the way my brain works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be
And
me.
Me,
yeah.
if you put anything with numbers, I'm not. It switches off.
Yeah. It's tricky if you're designing a thing around like, well, if they get something wrong, then this punishment happens or this kind of thing happens. You know, I had the same problem with the module from last season where I wrote it and it was also a module that Von immediately solved each of the things. But
Okay,
you know,
don't. Okay, I think what we're learning is don't put me in the modules with the puzzles if you want to put time and interest. Okay.
it's totally fine. It's just like oh, I guess you know. I was hoping like when I play tested mine, there was like one or two that people got wrong, and it was.
Oh,
you know,
this was the spells with
the spells. You're
yeah,
having
okay.
to like
Figure out the
guess
school of
the
magic and
spells
stuff.
based on the riddle, and and there were some that people were like unsure of, or they guessed the wrong spell.
I
Or
think there
something
was
like
one there that I got only literally because I had been reading the new rule set like
Yeah.
earlier that day and read it, and I was like, it's that one. Otherwise, it was a spell that I've never taken, never had anything to do with,
Yeah.
just purely luck.
I feel like we were trying to decide between two different answers, and you were like, "Oh shit, I read this yesterday."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you change your puzzle in any way, Johan, or did you just write it out kind of start to finish and that was kind of how it stayed?
I actually write the puzzle into like one big paragraph, and then I take a step back and take a look like how should I
Yeah.
how can I cut this into several pieces so they can players can arrange it. So
I really enjoyed it as like a piece of lore as well. Like the fact that
Yeah.
it was, you know, something which was, you know, a prayer to Yota. It was something that tied in. So, you know, because there's a thing with module authors sometimes where you just make you know, you Google like, you know, simple puzzles for kids, and then you try and implement like some kind of riddle or something that, you know, comes up. It's like not too hard to solve. You know, having something that is actually feels like thematic and feels like it fits in the module and makes sense in the world to be something that's actually there, I think is something very difficult, and I think you really kind of nailed it with the prayer.
with the puzzle, actually a tattered pieces of papers, and then actually quite funny because if you play this in person, the DM can always print the puzzles and then actually have pieces of paper scattered on the middle of the table, and then players can just actually interact physically try to arrange the pieces. Like
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
Prop
I think
is great.
think that was part of like why I was able to solve it.
Yeah, because you can
Because
physically
I
move
could
the things
physically
around.
look at it and I was
Yeah.
like, I moved it and I was like, no, that's not right. I swapped it around, that sort of thing. Like, yeah, having the physical, I love a prop. Having the physical prop there was great.
Yeah.
I got a horn in the first one that I was in. I got pieces of the paper in the set. I'm
So
happy with the
good.
prop.
More props and handouts.
Yes, please.
And well, I guess in terms of like props and handouts and minis and terrain and all that kind of stuff, Bianca, our director, did submit a question today asking, you know, if you could take home one mini from the season other than your PC, which one would it be?
Bart.
Like, is there anything that stands out? Bart,
Or the big
The Megalodon.
Dark. Yeah, the Megalodon.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say that one that we fought that was on
the Hydra.
in
The Hydra.
Yeah. That one was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Bart.
I really like the statue that was representing Yota.
No,
Yeah.
that's the one I meant. That's what I
Yeah.
meant.
Oh, okay.
That one.
Yeah.
Yes. The black, like
Yes.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. But also, Brendan, I'm gonna steal that rock from you one day. There's this one piece of terrain that's this
Oh.
rock, and it's just such a pleasing shape. And I
It's-
love it when it's on the board. It's my favorite piece of like terrain that has been in. I think it's been in every season so far.
It's from the WizKids Dungeon Dressings set.
I'm not gonna buy it. I'm just gonna steal it off
Yeah,
you.
yeah, fair enough.
So
Maybe the
for-
ship? Maybe the whole ship.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's Stevens, right? That
Oh,
ship.
Well-
I have one and Steven has one. There's two.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
That's why they had two ships on the.
In the first
But-
episode, there's a couple of episodes where we use both ships.
Yeah. So for me, there is a pirate in the pirate crew that is one-armed. That's my favorite pirate. So
Amazing.
You
had a
can
pretty
have the
full-
one-armed pirate after the.
I like the one-armed pirate.
Is that by design or by error?
Accident.
by printer error?
Nice.
Yes. His arm fell off while I
Well,
was
considering
painting
you
him.
made so many of them, Court, what's your favorite one apart from the one-armed? Like,
The
what was your favorite one to
screen.
work
Is it
on?
the DM screen? It's the
So
DM
the-
screen.
The TM screen was the most fun to work on. One of the models I'm currently painting is my favorite to paint. So you'll see that in a later episode if they choose it.
I think
Ooh.
in episode 5, I think it'll be.
Yeah.
I'm assuming if we're talking about the same one. So that'll be the next one, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But
Yep.
yeah, there's some upcoming ones that I think people are going to like over the next few episodes. So hopefully,
I do like some of the minis that are going to be in the finale though.
yeah, there's some cool ones in the finale. I haven't painted any of those yet because they're still a month or so away. But hopefully, you guys will enjoy those ones.
But yes, the DM screen was my favorite thing to put together this year.
Yeah.
Sorry that I keep snapping off little bits of it with my sleeves.
It's
You
fine.
did
With
choose some
flowy
extravagant
sleeves.
sleeves. I did love the
always
sleeves.
wear like
For
I feel
gesturing.
like I feel like I whenever I DM, I do tend I think I do at least like wear the sleevey shirts for DMing. The sleevey how anyway, but yeah.
No, they're very good.
It's very like the stuff is very easy to glue back together, so don't worry too much.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
I remember
we've broken
the
many
little
things.
the little bit of the roof. I
From
think
the
that
house.
Yeah.
I think the problem with the stuff I break off, because like if it was a larger piece that you could glue back, probably better. But like I feel like the problem is there's always like a tiny little bit of thing.
Like a little
Like,
turrety sort of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
like for that one, it sticks in my mind so much because I just like gestured to the board or something, and I just saw it like fly off as my arm went ahead. And I'm like, I barely even felt that on my sleeve, so
Yeah.
it was like,
Oh,
whoops.
speaking
Oh, well.
speaking of minis,
Oh.
Brendan, has the tiny chicken made an appearance this season yet?
No, actually. I think that there'll be a good opportunity for it in the next episode. So I'll have to make sure to put it in the next episode somewhere when I set that up. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Hidden chicken.
That's the one that uses the most like buildings and terrain and stuff like that of the season. So I think that it's trickier. Like I guess there could be a chicken on the boat, but it's less less logical.
Of course,
than
there's
it being-
chicken on the boat. Where do you get the egg?
Absolutely.
They'd
Yeah,
have to
exactly.
be,
We need
yeah.
eggs.
That's true. That's true.
Um,
We'll start putting the chicken on the boat then.
Great.
I do like to think that the chicken is like the equivalent of the long dog from Bluey.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's hidden in every episode. You just have to
Just
look
have to
for it.
find
Find
it.
it.
Yeah. It might have been there the whole time. You just haven't noticed. Well, now that we've seen these characters for a few episodes, and we're kind of starting to, explore the story, we're about kind of halfway through the narrative of our season. Is there anything that you've kind of learned through play about these characters? We talked about why you picked them in the first place or anything, but have they kind of developed? Has there been something that you've learned about them since you started playing them in this series?
I thought that Zeph was gonna be pushing people around a lot more. Like literally she has like 2 or 3 different ways that she can push people. And when
8 daggers.
and 8 I love that. I didn't make that up. It's they just gave me however many daggers it was, and I was like, well, they're just hidden around her person.
Just open up the vest.
Yeah, I was like, she's got, each thing, and then between the shoulder blades and down to pants and, shoes and stuff like that. I really thought that she was going to be more pushing and less dragging people around the battlefield.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew coming in that Astrid was going to be, kind of afraid of going in the water and so forth, but just kind of due to her, armor and her nature and so forth. But I didn't really. It was something that just kind of like become canon about her is that she doesn't react quickly to things. She still hasn't rolled over a 10 in initiative as far as I remember, or maybe there was a 12 or something and I was still at the bottom. But she's basically been like the last or second last in initiative in every encounter that she's been in so far. And I think it's just become canon now that she is kind of, slow and patient rather than, reacting quickly to things.
Look, Brennan, the like Remora, it hasn't been that apparent, but Remora also has like a -1 or 2, I think, to her initiative, which is why I also conceptualize her as slow, even though her movement speed is still 30. You just gotta roll with it. You just gotta say no. Like, I'm strategic. I want to see what you all are doing first.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
react,
it's not a bad thing for sure. Like, I think it's an interesting thing that
Yeah,
I've
look,
kind of learned about it.
if initiative is what you're rolling low on, I think you're doing fine.
Yeah, I
Take
think
it
it's
from
fine,
me,
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I was
She's
gonna
very
say,
consistent in terms of like damage output, even if she
Oh,
so-
you were
so-
doing some insane damage.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the great weapon master thing where you just get to a base 5 damage to everything you
so
roll.
basically what they changed, previously you could take like, a -5 on the roll and add 10 to the damage. They kind of like they've nerfed that in a way, but also made it like more consistent. So you don't get to do that anymore, but you just kind of get like a base bonus to the
It's
damage.
proficiency or something.
Yeah, you can add your proficiency bonus to the damage. So, and because she has like great weapon fighting style or whatever, you can't roll lower than a 3 on the dice. So her
Insane.
minimum damage if she hits is 13.
13.
And I think it's 14 now because she's gone up. Like now that we're moving into tier 3, she's leveled up. But it's but also like with the glaive's cleave feature, if she misses, it still does strength damage. So it still does 5 damage regardless.
So a minimum of
the
13
graze.
or 14.
Yeah.
I think the
if she hits-
maximum that I could do is 12.
yeah,
I do get 5 attacks if I want them, but
Yeah.
12.
She just gets the 2 or 3, depending on if she gets the bonus attack and stuff. But yeah, it's very like she does the one thing, but it's very consistent. I did take, however, now that we're kind of jumping to tier 3 for the upcoming episodes, I did take alert on her, not specifically for just the initiative bonus. I think that she will still swap initiative with people just to go like later or whatever. But it kind of felt like that was kind of the narrative choice for her at this point in the
I think that's good.
thing. Did anyone else kind of pick any other interesting kind of things
So-
for their characters leveling up?
for not necessarily for leveling up, but things that I took away or that have changed for Reggie is he's a lot more slapstick than I intended because of how
it's a court character.
how terrible he rolls. So it is fun. I do love a character that just does stupid things accidentally. But yeah, he's and also the trying to be the good guy lifting people up, which I did mention in the previous one. He jumped on that role a lot considering the party he was with.
Oh, I can't
lot of
wait
worries.
for Remora to meet Reggie. She's gonna hate it. What do you mean you have multiple gods?
That's the game. You collect them all. You gotta collect them all.
Your cleric needs to meet my cleric. Sorry, your paladin needs to meet my cleric that is also collecting gods.
Everyone's
He's got his main god and then favors from so many others.
Yeah. That's how Reggie wants to roll. Collect them all. Choose the best ones.
There's only one best one, so I don't know.
I mean, speaking of goals, do you have any particular goals for your characters for the rest of the season? I think we're all on at least one more, if not two more episodes.
I got a really cool feature from leveling up, where if I go down, I can just come back up if I roll a con save. So who's DMing it? Ari, my challenge to you is put me down.
Go down.
It might be possible. It's going to be a pretty hefty fighting mod, I think.
Yeah.
I might regret that. If I regret it, I
You
never
will.
said anything.
No, it's on camera. We
Yeah,
got
I
it.
don't. No,
there's no
I don't
record
think.
of this
I don't think you're
conversation.
right, Alec.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad that I'm not in the finale because like Remora is in this like, yeah, no, I'm going to kill Yoter for Umberly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Similar thing, because like, yeah, Zeph would like to get rid of Yoter as well for personal reasons, not for Umberly.
For herself.
For herself.
Yeah. It's always a tricky thing. I think this season, because we had like kind of two-part episodes, I tried to put the people who previously hadn't been on
we've done a finale
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
It's fine. Like,
but it's always that tricky thing. I kind of wish that it could be for for everyone to be on it. It just functionally doesn't work that way.
Oh, idea for next season. The finale is everyone.
just everyone rotates
Just
around.
8 or 9 people.
Yeah.
I
the problem is that
reckon
you can't have the
Blue
DM's character unless they're
and
playing
Niall
them
are
as
gonna.
Yeah,
No,
Lou
they
and
can do
that.
it, right? You guys can do it.
Crew would love that.
Yeah.
Just do it like an epic and just have multiple tables.
We just switch back and forward between the tables,
Yeah.
run back and forward.
Book 2 studios. They'd love it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess you could kind of do it like there's 2 parts of the battle going on, and we do it as 2 separate episodes. But
See, now you're thinking about it.
I know.
Yeah,
I know, I'm thinking about it.
This is what happened with the pirates in the first place. You float the idea.
They've already vetoed it in the chat.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it's going to happen. But
Bianca believes in you.
I also don't know how we could do it like legally at AL rules.
No, there is. What do you mean? It is
an epic.
Like,
it's an epic.
We're not allowed to write epics.
No. I'm going for one big table. This is what
one big table.
big
Technically
table.
possible.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I can see the chat panicking
now. Well, I think we've got about 10 minutes or so left before we should wrap it up. Is there any other kind of thoughts that you have? Anything that you want to talk about? Either with this module or these episodes or the kind of season in general so far.
If anyone has any suggestions of how I can roll better,
yeah, that is
no.
Please let me know in the chat.
Here is the thing. Like, this
message me personally. I don't care. Just need
this
to
is a common. Like, this is a common. Like, I don't know. Maybe because this is just like what cleric players say. If you have shit luck, what you need to do is build a character who makes other people roll. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've definitely yes. I've had that in the past, and also my character from last season. I buffed up their all of their they had expertise in everything. They had proficiency in as many saving throws as I could, all that sort of stuff. She had a plus 12 or something to initiative, so I was getting it maybe a 13, 14 in initiative.
Yeah, it's all well and good to buff certain stats, but if you roll a nat 1,
yeah,
for example, if you have a plus 8 to your constitution saves and you need to make a 10 on a roll, it's great unless you roll a nat 1 and then are exhausted for a whole episode.
A whole goddamn episode.
A whole goddamn episode.
Was a nightmare.
Yeah, that was
also, I apologize because there was definitely some rolls where I did not take away the thing that I was meant to because my brain just stopped.
From memory, I think there's more than one way to become exhausted in that module too. So you could have gotten 2 levels.
Oh yeah,
double exhaustion.
Yeah,
I would have.
Good thing we had the berries.
You and your goddamn berries.
I knew as a person that the berries were kind of vaguely that they were a problematic kind of thing, but I'm like, yeah, fuck it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reggie just
Brendan,
picked a
I
color.
haven't read the module and I knew the berries were going to be vaguely
it's
problematic.
What do you
obvious. It's
mean,
obvious,
brightly
to be
colored
clear.
berries in the suspicious jungle? What do you mean?
Yeah,
What is
look,
wrong with
I
that?
think partially
Clearly, it
it's
was a snack.
I think partially it's a performance thing too, because I didn't want it to be like, oh, you find these berries and we're like, yeah, we just leave.
Anyway, what's next?
And we're like, no, we got to.
Yeah.
I've got to kind
Somebody
of
was
honor
gonna
this
eat the
and
berries.
interact with
I
the
just
scene a
assumed it
little
was
bit.
going to be Reggie.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't want to take that away from Court. That's mine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I will say, Johan, I liked the berries and I liked the flower fields.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed those.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was fun.
I guess I have a question to the other characters who were in the finale, mid-season finale. What do you like? What does your character think is gonna happen? Because like, no, we took down the Dark Tide. Where's Wazi?
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Reggie's just happy that he's found out more about the story of Yolta. I think that's really what he's gained from this whole thing. He's got a lot more stories to tell and a lot more to learn. So he's kind of keen to find out more. The actual fighting of everyone is secondary to the rest. The story is what he's for.
Yeah, I think Astrid feels uneasy about it. Like,
Yeah.
we talked about in the first episode she was in, she's been having these dreams about an oncoming storm and so forth. I don't think that anxiety has really kind of let up for her. I don't think that she believes that it was that easy to, put an end to that. So, she is still concerned that like, all right, we've done something good, but I don't know what to do now to like, solve this. And we've run out of leads now. Like, our leads that we looked up kind of brought us here. This is the end of our travel, but we haven't solved the problem, and that kind of makes her feel more nervous about it.
What do you mean? You solved the problem. The plane is closed.
Yeah, because with Reeve being all like, Uazi was a fool, he was never, and I was just like, oh no, if you're this bad, he's gonna be worse. And yeah, it's like, well, this is the mid-season finale, and you're the bad. Oh God, oh no.
Definitely. What do you think that the characters kind of think about, the other characters that they've met so far? Do you have any, strong vibes about the rest of the adventurers along with you?
Astrid can hang.
yeah. Astrid's chill.
Yeah.
I wanted to try and kind of have a little bit of like tension between Astrid and Tilda. I don't think it's really eventuated.
Oh, do you mean when you electrocuted me for no reason?
Well, not just that. Like that was just because you're stupid. But like the
diabolical Johan, by the way,
her
just
kind of ancestral
awful
thing of being like, I think to Astrid, Tilda represents, the kind of ideal of her homeland, like the person that she was supposed to be, that her family expected her to be. And she kind of turned her back on that and went away. And even though she's kind of coming back, she feels this obligation to, kind of return home and help. I think that there is this like, well, I'm not this person that I'm supposed to be. So I think that there is a little bit of tension for her. I don't know if it's necessarily been like an outward conversation that they've had though.
No, and I also think that there's definitely part of Astrid's character that Tilda's looking at going, oh, I could have left.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was an option.
That was an option the whole time. I didn't have to wait till now. I could have gone like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think that didn't necessarily work out well for her in terms of her family relationships.
But she did it though.
But she did it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like when your friend leaves
a
country town to go to uni, and you're like,
yeah,
I thought we were staying.
Yeah.
I thought we had to.
I thought we were stuck here. Yeah, basically, like, she made this decision of like, I don't want to die fighting these squabbles of, these kings of these little islands of the whale bones fighting each other for, these tiny rocks in the middle of the sea kind of thing. I want my life to mean more than this, and she left.
I think that's fair. Like I think also that the island that I made Tilda from is not as isolated as Astrid's Island. Like it is
Yeah.
considered like a stopping point for traders going between Waterdeep and the rest of the Northland Isles. So it's like I think she does have that little bit more like didn't have to go out because stuff came to me.
Mm.
Meanwhile, here's Astrid singing a Pharrell like Moana style at the edge of the island.
Yeah, exactly. But I hear that Zeph was born on a boat.
Yeah,
Wow.
I should. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. I'd love to talk about it. No, yes, she was.
She should
That's
talk
all.
about it more.
I mean, yeah, she doesn't remember it. It's the only time she's been on a boat before now, and apparently not a good time. So
Hasn't had the best experience with boats so far.
boat's bad.
Yeah, that's
Boat's
fair.
bad.
Boat's
That's
bad.
fair.
The boat is just there to compensate for all your weaknesses, your inability to stay in the water.
List all my weaknesses, please.
Well, the three of you will be meeting Mike's character, Talarian, for the first time when we return after the break. So we're taking a couple of weeks off now before we return for the second half of the season. The 9th of September is going to be Flood of Fury, which was written by Jason Lee.
But we just stopped a flood.
I know. Well, maybe there's more flood. It's going to be DM'd by Ari, who'll be making his first appearance in this season, and then we'll meet his character the week after that. And we'll see Alec and Vaughn and Vic teaming up with Mike. So
I think Talarian is a character that Remora would probably think is like okay.
Yeah.
Oh, high praise.
Yeah.
This guy's got his shit together.
I think there might be a divide.
Yeah, I feel the wizard is coming.
Magic users.
I don't think I actually got to use them as much, but I do have like pejorative words for land dwellers.
Amazing.
Well, we will find out what they are. I think with that in mind, we are going to leave it here for now. We'll see you all in a couple of weeks' time when we return for episode 5. Thanks for joining us this evening, and see you later. Good night.
Bye.